Hi, folks. I'm Richard Friedman, and welcome to my political cartoon countdown for October 10th, 2022. Every couple of weeks or so, we get together and we do the cartoon countdown based upon the popularity on Twitter in terms of impressions. And before we get started, I'd just like to show you my latest book here. And if you like to see the political cartoons, this is the latest one for the first half of 2022. And if you'd like to see the sample of cartoons or just view other cartoons and other books, you can go to Richard's Books of politicalcartoons.com, and there you can check out all my past works and books. And if you would like, you can order this book there too. Okay, through a link to Amazon. There's a link there to purchase the book. Okay, let's get started, folks. Here's the countdown, starting out with numero cuatro de la semana, number 4 of the week. Okay, here we have Putin updated flashback. This was a cartoon I did a while ago, presenting Boris the Parrot with an off-ramp for President Putin, given President Biden's nuclear Armageddon remark, October 8th, 2022. So here we have Russian President Putin visiting a Moscow pet shop, and he meets up with Boris the parrot, the talking parrot. Okay, and here we go. And this was a past cartoon at the time. What was going on initially amid the Russian president signing a law that bans journalists from calling the Ukraine war a war or an invasion, with sentences up to 15 years in prison for people who distribute false news about the Russian military. Okay, and here we got it in Russian. That means pet. This is Russian for pet shop. Okay, you can see zoo. I mean, I don't know if that's any zoo. I don't know if that's any correlation with the name pet shop, but I doubt it. It's just a coincidence, probably. But that's the Russian name for pet shop up there. And there we have Russian President Putin, and here we have Boris the parrot. And Putin's going into the store, and here comes and Boris the parrot confronts him with buy Boris today, low price, and here goes, and then Putin says to him, Boris want a cracker? Boris want a cracker? And then Boris retorts back to Putin, Putin want to end war? And then Putin says here, Boris want 15 years in Gulag parrot camp? And then Boris retorts again, Boris want exile in warm Miami parrot jungle. And then Putin retorts back, Boris want exile in East Siberia with lots of ancient parrot remains. And then Boris retorts back again, Putin, that's a lot of frozen bird shit, and nuclear talk make more in Moscow this winter. This was an update, adding Moscow bird shit as a conclusion, in terms of the birds getting so scared that it's going all over the place. They're birding all over the place over Moscow, so scared of a nuclear confrontation, a nuclear war, and so this would be seen as an off ramp for Putin to say, well, I can't have this happen to Moscow with all this bird stuff around. I might as well stop talking about nuclear war and scaring the birds into doing their thing over Moscow. So that's what this cartoon was, basically added on as a flashback, bringing that point up. And Biden said that he basically wanted to provide Putin with an off ramp. And what's his off ramp? Well, that could be a nice off ramp. Okay, so that was it. That was number 4 of the week here. Putin confronting, or Boris the Parrot confronting Putin in a Moscow pet shop. Okay. All right. Número 3 de la semana, number 3 of the weeks was this here. Here we have President Xi, China President Xi, and we have North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un meeting, a virtual meeting. Okay, so here goes. North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un virtual meeting with China paramount leader Xi Jinping following North Korea's successful launch of a nuclear-capable long-range ballistic missile that flew over Japan, or way up high from space, but they knew it was over them, and there it goes, and it's flying up there, way up there. Any mishap, something goes wrong, it goes boom, right down on Tokyo. Like worse than 30 seconds over Tokyo. Well, I don't want to go there, but I'm just saying the below symbolizing the link between North Korea and Taiwan. Okay, so in the basis for this cartoon is that there is a link between North Korea and Taiwan in terms of the fact that this North Korean threat to that area, and the North Korea has publicly supported the one China principle, meaning that there's only one China, which inevitably means a sort of like the United States had a manifest destiny of expanding on the continent. Well, China sees Taiwan as its manifest destiny in terms of expanding and taking over this independent democracy, Taiwan. You see, so I'm not going to go historic on you, but I'm just saying there was way back. This was a refuge island that was during the Communist Revolution, that the people fled to this island who were fighting for democracy and formed the country there, and that it used to be Formosa, and today it's called Taiwan. So it's a country, it's an independent democracy, thriving independent democracy, and it makes a lot of vital things that like chips and stuff like that they have basically a large monopoly on, and that is very vital. So the Chinese, if they took over that, they would have big control over lots of. They could control a lot with those chips, because that's like what Hershey bars used to be to chocolate. That's what this is to chips, these microchips, which are vital in defense, in our phones, in everything we do. So there you go. So that's the story. That's the background there with that. So anyway, what I'm saying here is there is a link because of the fact that our alliance to discourage China from invading Taiwan is with fundamentally South Korea and Japan, and North Korea has come out for the one China policy, and the idea that if they got involved with defending Taiwan, supporting or not supporting China's efforts, the Chinese, the North Koreans, who are totally dependent on China for their survival and economic survival and in many ways defense, and even though even still, the idea that would be a threat to them. North Korea could say, well, we're going to start lobbing more missiles around you, just like China did when they were after Nancy Pelosi. They started stealing all this stuff around, flying around all over these fighter planes and everything. Well, they could do that. The North Koreans now could turn around and do this more so to Japan and to South Korea. So they might not want to get involved, and it could theoretically, break up the alliance against the Chinese taking over Taiwan, because it's like the big kid on the block, the two biggest kids on the block getting together. That's what it comes down to. I used to live in the Bronx, and the gangs and everything, all these going there. So I'm saying it's just like that. It's two big kids on the block, militarily. So this was a cartoon. I given you the background, and here goes the cartoon. Okay, so here goes Kim Jong-un there. You see, there he is. And he's saying, how you like North Korean long-range ballistic missile test over Japan. Me very soon do nuclear test, which is what he's most likely, most experts say that, intelligence experts say he's going to do soon. Okay, and then President Xi says, congratulations, when me decide about Taiwan, you China wolf, like in the Flu Zone TV commercial. You ever see that Flu Zone TV commercial where everybody runs away from the wolf, and he's dressed up as a sheep, and he's really a wolf, and so everybody runs away from the wolf. He goes through the hospital wards and everything like that. And everybody's running from. So this is like his wolf. North Korea is like China's wolf in the Flu Zone commercial, like in Flu Zone TV commercial. South Korea, Japan become sheep to North Korean threat of nuclear flu zone. You see? So there you have it here. Okay. Okay, número dos de la semana, number 2 of the week. Here we have Putin. This is also a 2014 flashback. A lot of these flashbacks are more relevant today than they were back then. So this is a classic example of that. Putin 2014 flashback. Given Putin has illegally annexed territories in Ukraine, declaring that the millions of people living there would be Russian citizens forever. So he staged an election where he went around with soldiers with loaded ammunition and guns to say, would you like to sign here? Please vote for this candidate. Please vote. And I said, okay, I'll vote for him. You could vote for the other guy, but that's a dead end street. So a lot of people were convinced to vote under that shotgun approach. So here we have this was from a flashback. Putin explains Russian trucks carrying tanks to Ukraine border. This was prior to the Crimea. This goes back to 2014 initially, when they were staging to take over Crimea. Okay, this is during the President Obama era, and I remember this distinctly, that Putin did mention nuclear weapons then at the time. It came up. I remember that, listening to it. So we stood, basically the world stood by then and let that happen. So this was the culminate. You could argue that this was the logical the logical conclusion to that. Well, I'm not going to start doing that, but I just want you to understand the background here, that this was Crimea, and here we got Putin explains Russian trucks carrying tanks to Ukraine border, and he's going like this. There's the trucks, there's the tank, and he's going. These trucks are on a humanitarian mission to deliver tanks filled with vitamin-enriched Molotov cocktails. So he's saying he's helping the Ukrainians basically with the vitamins in Molotov cocktails to serve them that, you know. So he didn't directly say that he was going in to take over Crimea at the time. He was giving kind of you know, excuses for the build-up there until it happened, I think. Okay, I'm not sure about that, but it sounds very, very familiar that he would do the same thing that he did, you know, the second time around when he decided to take over the whole country. After Crimea. Well, now Crimea, we know what's going on there. So, okay, that was it then. Okay. Okay, I salute the Ukrainians for the great work that they're doing there in Ukraine and trying to take back Crimea and everything they're doing there. Salute to the Ukrainians. Okay, now this is numero uno de la semana, of the weeks, I should say the weeks, las semanas. Okay, now here we have what happened here was Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov thoughts amid leaving the United Nations building following Lavrov not appearing until 2 minutes before he spoke in the chamber to give his own speech, and then leaving within a minute and a half after speaking. So he just went up to the stage, boom, came down, and vamos, and he left. He left. So, this was that scenario in which he dismissed the widespread international condemnation of Russia and again blamed Kiev for Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. Okay, so this was originally this was September 23rd, 2022 that I did this cartoon here. Okay, this is not a flashback. This is a cartoon from September 23rd, 2022. And here is Lavrov exiting the United Nations. He's anxious. He's so happy to be out of there now, and he's jumping for joy to be out of the United Nations, where he just made a 1-minute speech and left. And there he is, and he's in New York City here, leaving the UN, happy, doing a dance to be out of that place, you know, where he had to face all those, you know, the retribution for Russian actions in Ukraine, Russian war in Ukraine, attack, and the killing of all those innocent people, and so forth. So he goes, glad that's over. I'm hungry. There's a McDonald's. There's a McDonald's, he's saying. You know, he's pointing to a McDonald's, and he's looking at a McDonald's restaurant there. There's a McDonald's. See? There's McDonald's. Sure miss our Moscow McDonald's at the Pushkin Square. There was a McDonald's at Pushkin Square in Moscow before it shut down in protest to what was going on in Ukraine. And a lot of people missing their Big Macs. So, and my Big Mac combo. This is I looked up a Russian McDonald's, and this is what the Big Mac is in Russian, right here. And this is a Big Mac combo. This is what it is, like I said, in Russian. And another great sacrifice we have been forced to endure. So the greatest sacrifice to him is not having this Pushkin McDonald's to get his Big Mac and fries, Coke at. Misses that. That's it. So again, a little sarcasm and humor, sarcastic humor, sardonic humor, whatever you want to call it. But it brings out the point that now the waters of retribution are rising as the people in Moscow and in Russia start questioning what's going on here in Ukraine, and we're seeing that. So so that concludes this cartoon countdown. I want to thank you folks for watching. You take care of yourself, stay well. God bless you, and God bless America. I'll see you next time. Take care, folks. Bye.